Look and listen. My main job is to listen to other people. Yes, you probably guessed it right. I am a counselor. Listening is basically hearing coupled with understanding of what's being shared. Listening does not just involve hearing, but it includes observing the body language too. A decent understanding of what is being shared is an integral part of the listening process. Act of patiently listening to someone talk to you for an hour is something few people in the world can do. Most people struggle to have a decent conversation with someone else for even 15 minutes at a time. It's easily one of the most important skills or qualities to have in one's personality. But it's not easy to be a phenomenal listener. Listening is critical to our personal and professional success. In today's world, most of us are poor listeners. We speak 2 to 3 words a second, while we listen at just 1 to 2 words a second. We can have poor relationships and be less effective at work when we are ineffective listeners. Poor listening skills can create major misunderstandings at home and in the workplace. Misunderstanding messages, missed appointments, misinterpreting things, laying too much importance on the wrong things, etc. Most senior management professionals spend half their working day in listening to others at work. Even though listening is such an important skill, most human beings aren't formally trained to listen better. There are thousands of public speaking courses, but barely few hundred listening courses in the world today. Listening can be improved drastically through purposeful training. Our listening skills can be observed, recorded, and measured accurately. When you listen well, you can excel at any profession which requires that you listen actively to others. Listening isn't an easy skill. In fact, it must be one of the toughest skills in the world. The reasons we can't listen well are many. Interruptions, disturbances, biases, assumptions, poor hearing, wrong interpretations, perceptions, lack of focus, poor concentration, incorrect reading of body language, and impatience are among the few things that cause us to be poor listeners. A human being will listen to anyone that speaks about something that they are deeply interested in. Unfortunately, for us, most speakers love to speak about things that they are deeply interested in. Therefore, if the listener isn't interested in the same topic the speaker speaks about, then the scope of attentive listening is lesser. We tend to listen twice as much as we speak. An average person listens to 1,000 words an hour. But after one day, we remember less than 200 words of what we listened to. And every 2 days, we remember less than 100 of those 1,000 words we listened to. In today's tech-savvy world, we learn mostly through audio and video. Unfortunately, our learning decreases when we are distracted or preoccupied with something else. Our memory plays a vital part as well. We usually forget half of what we learned yesterday. And tomorrow, we will only remember 1/20th of what we heard day before yesterday. Speaking is silver. Listening is gold. "100 ways to listen better." Listening is a powerful skill. It seems like everyone wants to be a good listener. But only few of us actually work on becoming a better listener. As public speaking trainers for more than 2 decades, we have observed that the best speakers are always good listeners as well. We've come across many good listeners during our soft skills classes, corporate seminars, and counseling sessions. We've put together this list to give you almost everything you need to do in order to be an awesome listener. Here are 100 tried and tested ways to listen better. One, there is a long silence before the first point. Since it is all about silence itself. Do not talk while the other person is talking. For that matter, do nothing else but listen. 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 You just cannot listen well while you are speaking. Listen and silent share the same letters. Two, remove all distractions while you are listening. Eliminate noises, movements, smells, etc. Distractions are major hindrances while you are attempting to listen. You just cannot listen while you're distracted. A distracted listener is a poor listener. You cannot understand the message fully when something is distracting you. Three, allow them to share their story without you butting in and sharing yours. Do not complete sentences for them. Please allow them to say what they want to say, how they wish to say it. Don't butt in, even if you're tempted to. 4. Actions always speak louder than words. Listen to the non-verbal messages that you receive. Be attentive to their body language with your eyes, while you keep your ears focused on what they are saying. 5. Do not be a borderline listener. Do not listen to selected pieces of what's being spoken. You will surely miss the main points when you focus on a minor detail or two selected based on personal reasons. Six, no matter what, speak less and listen more. We have been given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. I have never met someone who listens well when they speak more than the speaker does. Seven, avoid making judgments or jumping to conclusions about what is being said. We are often swayed into another sphere when we jump to conclusions quickly. Analyze if you must, but don't judge. First, gather the facts. Listen attentively till the end. Draw conclusions only once the conversation has ended. Eight, do not be an intermittent listener. An intermittent listener is one who understands bits of what was spoken, but not everything. 9. Ask them to repeat things you missed or failed to understand. Stop the speaker from continuing and request them to repeat the parts that you missed or did not understand fully. If you wait till the end of the conversation, then the chances are high that even the speaker won't remember what you want them to repeat for you. 10. Keep your phone on silent while in a conversation with someone. Even a single notification beep can ruin a good conversation. In today's world, the biggest distraction is our little phone. A true friend is one who listens to you when no one else does. When an elder speaks, be silent and listen. (11) Nod your head while you are listening to them. Let the other person know that you are following everything they are saying by nodding your head as they speak. This serves two purposes. It sends a message to your brain to stay alert, and it lets the speaker know that you are listening to them properly. (12) Take breaks between long listening periods. This prevents information overload. Don't listen to someone speak for hours at a time. It's impossible to do. Even a tiny break of a minute will help you and the speaker. 13. Delete the habit of thinking about your answer to what is being said. Be fully attentive to the speaker's words and voice, not on what you wish to say next. You will lose focus if you focus only on thinking about questions to ask the speaker. (14) Watch out for your own emotions. Do not respond with sadness, anger, fear, jealousy, or other negative emotions based on selected words spoken, thereby failing to understand the whole message. Do not let your feelings control you. You can easily lose the plot when you lose your cool. 15. Listen carefully. Understand the main ideas, their organization, and all the supporting information that is spoken. (16) Do not be in a hurry to leave. Never look at the time. You show them that you don't really care about what they are saying. Show the speaker you are paying full attention. Do not give the speaker any clue that suggests you are not interested in what they are saying. 17. Master the habit of asking the right questions. But do not ask too many questions. Ask questions only when you want to genuinely know more about what is being shared. Ask a question whenever you need more information or have not understood something that they said. But don't interrupt them while they are speaking to do so. Ask your question when they complete the sentence fully. Keep all questions short and relevant. It's important for a counselor to probe well in order to gain better insight into the issue. 18. Be interested in what is being said, but don't fake it. There are few things more annoying to a speaker than a listener pretending to listen to you speak. There are few things more irritating to a speaker than a listener who is clearly disinterested in what he or she is saying. 19. The golden rule of listening is to listen to understand, not merely to listen. There is no point listening when you're not understanding what is being said. In long conversations, lectures, seminars, etc., just try to understand the core message in each line spoken. 20. Make the speaker feel comfortable. If it is in your control, then please make sure that the person talking is seated comfortably while speaking with you. Face the person you are listening to, if possible. When you fail to listen, you fail to understand. Two ears, one mouth. Listen twice as much as you talk. 21. Don't counsel the speaker. Just listen. Refrain from giving suggestions unless they have specifically asked for it. And no giving them any advice either. 22. Don't panic if you missed a bunch of words due to some distraction or the other. Wait for the speaker to pause. Then ask them to repeat what you missed, if possible. Get back to listening to the speaker from that present point as soon as you can. 23. Do not interrupt the speaker while he or she is speaking with you. Let them focus on speaking while you focus on listening. Interruptions always ruin what could be a great conversation. 24. Make little noises such as okay, etc. to show that you are truly listening. Show that you are paying close attention and really care by leaning forward, nodding from time to time, stroking your chin, etc. This shows that you are listening and helps the speaker feel more valued. This helps show that you are on the same wavelength as the speaker. 25. Do not dominate the conversation. Let them speak more. Let them share things they want to share. Do not interrupt the flow of the conversation. Your main job is to listen. Actually, it's your only job. 26. Do not worry or panic if you miss something that the speaker said. We fret when we missed a few words or an entire line. We maintain such high standards for ourselves. We worry if we aren't living up to our high standards. Don't judge yourself while you listen. We all make mistakes. Just relax and continue listening to the speaker. 27. Hogging a conversation is a rotten thing to do. When in a conversation, do most of the listening and watch the difference. 28. After every conversation that you have, try to find out what are the common things that tend to decrease your listening skills while you listen. What are the things that prevent you from being an effective listener? Once you learn them, work on eradicating them in your next conversation. 29. Be silent while they speak. You leave little scope for understanding this video if you aren't silent while watching and listening to me speak. You simply cannot listen properly to someone while you aren't silent. 30. We tend to think a lot faster than we speak. Try to think at the same rate as they speak. This maximizes the chances of you retaining most of what they have said a lot longer. Who speaks, sows. Who listens, reaps. The fool speaks. The wise man listens. 31. Do not be a passive listener. A passive listener hears the sounds but is unable to interpret them beyond basic recognition. 32. Be aware of the situation and mood in which the speaker is speaking. People speak differently in different situations. If a person is speaking loudly over the phone, chances are that they are in a crowded or noisy place. You do not need to speak as loudly to them when you respond, but speak loudly enough to be heard by them. Their emotions and moods change as per the situation too. For example, a person may speak hazily when they are feeling stressed out or moody, while someone who is happy will tend to speak with a lot of energy and vitality. 33. Try to use all your senses when you listen. Listening is not all about your ears. It requires working with your eyes and speech too. 34. Don't dream while the other person is talking, even if you're tempted to. You will miss out on a lot if you daydream while you listen. 35. Avoid being a critical listener. Do not contradict or question everything that is being said. Do not maintain a skeptical attitude throughout the interaction. 36. When you come across something they say that you don't agree with or misunderstood, wait for them to complete their sentence. Then clear things out before allowing them to continue. 37. Don't get caught up by the manner or style in which they are speaking. Focus only on what they are saying, not how they are saying it. We are conditioned to remember quotes and dialogues better. We tend to focus too much on the speaking style and delivery of the speaker. 38. Be a responsive listener. Accept their feelings as your own. Show that you're listening by responding with natural facial expressions and positive body language. 39. Try to understand everything that is being said. For this to happen, you need to listen to the whole message. Do not listen in bits and pieces. Then seek to understand as much as you can. 40. Resist the temptation to stop the speaker while they are sharing their story. Wait for them to finish. From listening comes wisdom. From speaking, repentance. A good listener is a silent flatterer. 41. Master the art of knowing when to speak and when to listen. In any conversation, you must listen more to understand the other person a lot better. 42. Look at the person while they speak with you. You cannot maintain full focus while you are looking away from the speaker. Use eye contact to show them that you are paying complete attention to every little word that they say. 43. Don't listen when your mind is somewhere else. You simply cannot listen when they aren't fully present. If there is too much on your mind, then it's best to tell the speaker that you will have this conversation with them at a later date. 44. Make time for conversations with others. Keep aside time in your schedule to practice your listening skills. The more you practice it, the better you shall be as a listener. "45. Do not interrupt the speaker to take a call on your phone or to read an incoming text message. If listening truly matters to you, then you should let all your calls go to voicemail. Give your undivided attention to the speaker when you are listening. "46. Do not worry about understanding every word that they say. Focus instead on just listening to what is being said right now. Then let your brain do the rest." 47. Don't look around while the speaker is speaking with you. You are bound to be distracted the moment you look left or right or anywhere else, but straight at the speaker. 48. Give the other person encouragement to continue. Repeat certain key phrases in their speech. Nod your head to show that you're paying total attention. 49. Leave your ego at the door. Do not let your ego ruin your listening skills. Avoid the temptation to allow what is being said to affect you at that time. 50. Do not start thinking about something else while the person is still speaking with you. Do not think about what to say next based on what the speaker is talking about. Do not be preoccupied with your own thoughts. It can easily distract you. Listen more, learn more, speak more, learn zero. If I listen, I have the advantage. If I speak, others have it. "51. Focus on gathering information, not on seeking confirmation. Try to know more in order to understand things better. But resist the urge to solicit information just to tickle your own fancy. 52. Do not change the topic to suit what interests you more. We are most likely to do this when a conversation gets boring or when we don't find it interesting. Avoid changing the topic. Stick to what is being spoken about. 53. You must try to listen so well to the speaker that you are able to repeat the entire conversation, the speaker's side of it, to another person at a later time. It's nearly impossible to remember an entire conversation word for word. But as a listener, you must do your best to listen in a manner to remember every single line spoken during the conversation. (54) Lean forward to show that you're paying attention. This gives the speaker encouragement to speak more freely. By leaning forward, you show that you're completely focused on the speaker. You also show the speaker that you are genuinely interested in what he or she is speaking to you about. (55) Be mindful while you listen. Be mentally present while listening. Be there in the now, the present moment. Be fully there while you are there. If you think about the past or the future, then you aren't being mindful. Be completely centered and focused on the conversation. If you aren't completely focused, you ain't listening. (56) Do not fidget or goof around. Avoid silly things such as playing with something, fidgeting, looking about, looking at your smartphone screen, or whistling. (57) Do not pretend to listen. It can cause all kinds of problems. Seinfeld is one of my favorite TV shows. In one episode, the main character of the show, Jerry Seinfeld, went out for dinner along with Elaine, Kramer, and Kramer's new girlfriend, who happened to be a low talker. In other words, she spoke so softly that could barely hear her. While talking across the dinner table, the low talker said something which Jerry and Elaine could not hear, but they simply nodded their heads as if they heard her. As a result, Jerry had to wear a ridiculous-looking puffy shirt on a major charity show on TV. Since he agreed to wearing it when he nodded his head while pretending to hear what Kramer's low-talking girlfriend said. (58) Get your 8 hours of sleep every night. A person who is sleepy, tired, and restless will not be able to listen well. It's just like a hangover. You simply cannot perform well at work the next day when you have one. You will listen a lot better when your mind and body gets the rest it needs. (59) Be alert to your own prejudices and filters. You won't be able to listen properly if you allow your own prejudices to come in. (60) Visualize what is being said. It helps a bit. But don't do it for every single thing that they say. You will miss out on something or the other if you try to visualize every single thing. Keep your mouth shut and listen. Wise you shall become. Listen while they speak. You will always walk away having learned something. (61) Listen in a perceptive manner. You will then understand what is being shared despite the words failing to express it. If you do not understand something in this video, pause the video. Then go back to what you wish to understand better. (62) Be a creative listener. Learn to appreciate what is being spoken in an emotional and intellectual manner. (63) An average human being speaks 2 to 3 words a second, while being able to think at 8 to 12 words a second. It's easy to drift away and think of other things due to this difference of speed. Stay fully focused while listening to avoid doing this. (64) Do not play the psychic. We are not mind readers. Sometimes during the discussion, we decide that we know what's coming next. So we lose interest. Or we burst out loud what we think the speaker is going to say next. (65) Do not be too eager to respond. Talk little. Listen much more. Do not ask leading questions to avoid being distracted from the main topic. (66) Listening time is the time to listen. Do not do anything else while someone is speaking to you. You won't be able to listen properly when you aren't listening attentively. (67) Do not turn detective. Don't look for clues in what they are sharing. Do not interrogate, probe too much, overanalyze stuff being said, etc. (68) Do not rush the speaker. Let them speak at their own pace. Rushing the speaker makes it look like he or she is wasting your time. (69) Do not warn, threaten, order, blame, label, ridicule, or insult the speaker. Don't argue. Do not lecture the speaker about what should be done or not to do. Listen without being judgmental. Make no assumptions either. "70. Do not stare at the speaker. Maintain an attentive expression with an encouraging smile that conveys concern. Maintain a soft gaze with decent eye contact, which should not bother the speaker. Leave space and silence for the speaker to think. When wise people talk, listen. You'll learn a lot in doing so. One who speaks well listens twice as well. "71. Do not contradict what they say. Don't tell them that they are wrong. Don't assume that the speaker is wrong and you are always right. Do not start planning how to put them right. Instead, simply focus on being an open and non-judgmental listener. Have humility. Everyone makes mistakes, and no one is always right. 72. Avoid a complete shutdown. Sometimes too much information that is a little too complex to understand may result in a complete shutdown. Just keep listening. Allow your brain to do the rest. 73. We tend to remember only 20% of what we hear. After 2 days, we might remember less than 10% of what we listen to. So write important things down. Make notes after the conversation ends. It may sound silly, but doing this simple thing can help you remember things much better. 74. Listen with both your ears and your eyes. Pay attention to their body language, facial expressions, and the tone of voice. You will understand things much better when you do this. 75. Keep things positive if you can. Listening to people who complain, crib, nag, or talk negatively can impact your own mental health. 76. Avoid having conversations while you are driving, working on something important, etc. You are more likely to drive or work less attentively while talking. 77. If possible, have conversations only in places where there is silence. Noises of any kind can deter us from listening and speaking well. '78. Boost your brain fitness. We can listen better when our brain fitness is good. '79. Never tell the speaker that you find the subject matter they are speaking about uninteresting or boring. Give them encouragement to continue by nodding with approval from time to time. '80. Do not shout or yell. Do not make accusations or excuses. Do not criticize the delivery or appearance of the speaker. It's pure waste of time. Someone who doesn't listen to others deserves not to be listened to. Listen to others with your ear in the center of your heart, as the word heart itself has EAR bang in the center of it. '81. Do not invade their personal space. Sitting or standing too close to the speaker can intimidate the speaker. Keep a distance of 1 arm or more, but don't stand or sit too far away either. '82. Paraphrase the important things that are spoken. Paraphrasing basically means to repeat what was just said, but with fewer words. It shows the speaker that you are following every single sentence they have said. And it also helps you remember the things being said twice as well. '83. Pay attention to your own emotional state. You cannot listen properly when you are feeling sad, moody, or stressed out. '84. Keep yourself in check. Some listeners tend to get overstimulated by what is being said. Maybe they are aroused by the appearance of the speaker. Do not overreact to things either. Nothing distracts a speaker more than an overreacting listener. '85. Use mirroring while you listen. Increase the other person's confidence in you. Mirroring can cause the speaker to speak more, reveal a lot more, and feel more comfortable while in your presence. Mirroring is a powerful way to connect with people at a very personal level. '86. No name calling, please. No scolding or lecturing either. No teaching, demanding things, or diverting the conversation towards something else. Avoid being silly by saying wrong things. Be tactful, not tactless. '87. Do not suddenly change the subject. This may happen when you are feeling uncomfortable with what is being discussed. Maybe you are plain bored or overwhelmed. '88. Have empathy, not sympathy. There is no need to be sympathetic. Put yourself in the speaker's shoes to understand things from their point of view. '89. Do not be a problem solver. Stop offering solutions when they aren't asked for. If it ain't broke yet, don't fix it yet. '90. Do not distract or divert their attention on purpose. This might demoralize them, even prevent them from continuing. A prince without ears to listen has no head to govern. Learn to cook and learn to listen. '91. Don't start speaking just because they paused. Do not interrupt the flow of the conversation. One of the biggest problems is the habit of interrupting others while they speak. Stay focused. Do not move off topic, no matter what. '92. Reduce the stress in your life. Make sure you are totally relaxed while listening. It becomes difficult to listen well when you are feeling stressed out, worried, tense, or depressed. Stress also makes remembering things more difficult. '93. Master the art of when to speak. Pause, probe, listen, and ask them to repeat it. Ideally, in a conversation, to listen well, you must listen for 8 out of 10 minutes. In every 2 minutes of conversation, you must speak just once or twice. '94. Use mass media to help you become a better listener. Listen to songs and try to figure out the meanings of them. Watch movies by pressing the mute button and try to figure out what the dialogues are. '95. Let them know how much time you can spend with them today. Doing this ensures that they know how long they can speak with you. They will not get hurt when it's time for you to leave. "96. Do not enforce your opinions or thoughts on the speaker. Instead, encourage the speaker to continue speaking with you. Motivate them to open up and share their full story. Do not turn into a speaker. Continue being the listener. "97. Listen within your limits. Know your strengths and weaknesses as a listener. Work on overcoming your weaknesses. "98. Do not make notes. If you must, then jot down only the main points. You can easily lose focus when you make notes, thereby missing some important points being spoken. "99. Do not eat while you listen. Even a tiny bite can distract us. We tend to miss something if we are eating and listening at the same time. "100. Practice your listening skills every single day. Keep half an hour aside to fine-tune your listening skills. Listen to audiobooks, music, etc. Listen to understand what is being said. The secret to being a great speaker is to listen well. He understands badly who listens badly. Here are some bonus tips for you to use during a voice or video call. Smile as you take the call and let your personality shine. Do not do anything else while you are on the phone. Focus your entire attention on the caller and the conversation. Do your best to ensure that you remove all distractions during the call. Try to be in a silent area while you are on the phone. While responding, project a tone that is enthusiastic, natural, attentive, and respectful. Do not reply too loudly. Speak calmly and choose your responses naturally. Refrain from discussing anything personal on the phone. Turn off background noise, such as music or television. Remain calm during conversation, even if the person on the other end is not. Do not eat, drink, or chew gum while on the phone. Refrain from taking a call while walking on the street, driving a car, or while in a crowded area. Do not talk to someone else while you are on the phone with another person. During a voice call, make sure you let the caller know that you are listening by saying, ah, okay, etc. Imagine the other person in your mind. It helps improve your concentration. Hope these tips helped. Thank you. The most popular person in a group is usually the one who listens best. Being listened to is so close to being loved that most people cannot tell the difference. It is the third decade of the 21st century. Times have changed drastically. Almost every adult in the world has a smartphone now. More than 5 billion people use their phones as the primary tool to communicate. Today, in 2021, an average human receives more information in 24 hours than the average human received in a lifetime in 1921. Over 80% of what we know today, we did not know 20 years ago. It is estimated that the average person sends and receives over 200 messages per day. Most of the listening we do in today's world is over the phone. In fact, more than 80% of human communication takes place through the smartphone. Most teenagers and adults spend 60% of communication time talking about themselves. Yet, the typical adult spends less than 10 minutes a day talking to their partner. And the average working parent spends less than a minute in meaningful communication with their kids. There is hardly any doubt that being an effective listener is a pretty important thing. Yet, we don't spend much time in actually listening and practicing to be a better listener. When a close friend talks, patiently listen to their whole story. Marry someone you love listening to. It comes as no surprise that 1 out of 2 marriages in countries such as America ends in a divorce. The main cause for separation is lack of communication between the partners. A human being usually gets distracted or interrupted thrice every 12 minutes and more than 100 times in a day. Each distraction or interruption averages 2 minutes. That's more than 3 hours of interruptions in one day. Being a mindful listener is perhaps the toughest thing to do. We just cannot seem to focus fully and listen in the now. The truth is that we can do everything else but listen. 6 out of 10 people daydream during a long conversation, meeting, or lecture. 5 out of these 6 people nod their head or pretend to take down notes to show they are still listening. There are millions of fake listeners in our nation, and the number keeps going higher each day, sadly. Unfortunately, despite the vast pool of invaluable information in this video, only 3 out of every 100 people will listen to this video until this line. This is undoubtedly the greatest evidence of us being poor listeners, and the biggest reason why we must work on improving our listening skills. A man is already halfway in love with any woman who listens to him. You can make almost anyone fall in love with you just by earnestly listening to them. Benefits of listening. By giving our undivided attention, we can listen a lot more attentively to others. It helps build good rapport between the speaker and listener. It helps you understand the speaker better. By listening to them carefully, we show them that we respect them. It allows us to receive accurate messages and enable us to respond appropriately. We can improve our relationships and be more successful at work when we listen better. It avoids misunderstandings, as we have to confirm we really do understand what another person has said. It helps people open up more, to get them to share more with you. It helps to restart a stalled narrative. It makes them feel more important, makes them feel valued. A good listener can accomplish more due to a greater understanding of things in general. An active listener will never miss an opportunity that a passive listener might miss completely. It adds to your sincerity or genuineness or authenticity. You are taken more seriously by others when you listen to them attentively when they speak. You display more humility and become more likable as a person. Knowledge speaks. Wisdom listens. A person using a smartphone seems to have their heads perpetually buried in their phones. Our phones give us unlimited access to inexhaustible information at our fingertips. Most teens use their phone while they eat and even before they sleep. Most people usually use their phones to communicate with others. Although today's smartphones are well equipped with voice and video calling facilities, it has been observed that most communication takes place through instant messaging and social apps. As a result, over 80% of teens and adults use the calling facility on their phones just once or twice a day. In comparison, they read over 5,000 words in their text messages and social feeds every single day. And they see more than 300 pictures and videos every single day. A conversation with someone in person has become rare these days. It is evident that speaking to another human being might be extinct someday, if you get what I mean. There may come a time in the not too distant future where the entire human race may not utter a single word in the entire day, and it will be considered normal. The one who listens well can open all doors. Invest in being a good listener. A good listener usually lives a better life. A good listener is more successful at work and has better relationships. Be a true listener. A true listener listens, only listens, does not interrupt, nor gets distracted, and loves to listen in general. Be an active listener during the journey of life.